Hey guys, welcome back. Today I want to talk about the Springfield Saint Edge ATC rifle. I'm just going to start off early on in the video and say this is a colossal waste of money, and I'll go into details in this video. So if you want to stick around and find out why I believe it's a colossal waste of money and why it looks like it does right now in the configuration that it's in, that's what we're going to delve into in today's video. But if you'd like to support us here at the Military Arms Channel so we can bring you honest content about products like this, we can only do that through our Patreon support. We do have a link in the video description below. If you go there and join our Patreon family, you'll get early access to videos like this one. You'll have access to me. I answer all direct communications. We've built a nice community over there with some other perks. So with all that being said, let's get started with today's video talking about why the ATC, well, there's better ways to spend your money. First of all, I really want to thank our friends over at 4Guns in Lafayette, Indiana. It's a gun store that we've been going to for many years. Great folks over there. And they hooked us up with this ATC, and they allowed us to take the gun, and they agreed to let us use this firearm for our testing. And so that's why we have the gun out here this afternoon. So big thanks to them. Check them out. I can't link to them, sadly, but that is what it is. All right, so why does this thing exist? Well, first of all, it is a patented design. The patent number is on the lower receiver of the gun. And when you search that patent number, it comes back to a company named Drake Associates. If you go to Drake Associates' website, they sell an identical rifle. They're the inventors of this system, the chassis system as they call it. And they also offer it in 223 with other cartridges being offered in the future according to their website. So it would appear that Springfield licensed this technology or this chassis system from Drake Associates. Now Drake sells their rifle, which uses premium components, for $1,776. This rifle retails full MSRP in this configuration. There's two models in this configuration for $1,899. So what is its claim to fame? Why would you want to pay almost $2,000 for one of these rifles? What does it give you that a standard AR-15 doesn't? This low profile barrel nut, which is compatible with BCM wrenches, and the barrel itself, due to the chassis system, there is no touching of the barrel nut or the barrel anywhere on the rifle. That's its claim to fame. This barrel truly free floats in this lower receiver assembly. So when it's put together, this barrel nut floats freely out here, and the barrel is touched by nothing all the way out to the end of the barrel. The top cover is there for cosmetics, in my opinion, because this thing, even with its tensioning screw tightened, is sloppy fit. But that's its claim to fame. You get a free floated barrel. And with that, you get a non-proof barrel. We'll talk about the modifications in the next segment, but we made modifications to it. We took the original 223 barrel out, but they claim with their 223 Wild Ballistic Advantage barrel, which is 18 inches in length with a 1-in-7 twist, that with 3 shots with an experienced shooter using quality match ammunition, it has a sub-minute guarantee. So it will shoot roughly less than 1 inch at 100 yards for 3 shots. And we put that to the test. I shot this quite a bit as a 223 before we started making changes to it to try to get something actually useful out of it, because as a premium accurate 1899 precision rifle, it fell way short. You can spend a lot less money and get the same type of performance out of a non-proprietary AR-15 type action. We'll talk more about that in this video. So let's talk about the gun as a 223 Wild chambered rifle. There are rifles on the market. The Daniel Defense Mark 12 behind me is an example, which we'll show you some groups from. It's an example of a gun that's chambered in 5.56. 223 Wild is supposed to be a match chambering, if you will, to give you a little bit better accuracy. That's why it was developed, and that's what the Ballistic Advantage barrel in the original ATC had in it. But you can also spend far less money than the price of a Mark 12 from DD. An example of that, right now, Primary Arms has a brand new function on their website at primaryarms.com where you can build your own AR-15 upper, pick the components that they have available. They'll build the upper for you, ship it to you, and you'll get something that looks like this. But you'll notice this has a traditional free float handguard where we have 3 screws back here and a barrel nut that it's attached to, and the rest of the barrel is free floated out here. On the end, this is an Expo Arms muzzle device. I believe these are actually on sale at the Primary Arms website, and they're compatible with dead air cans. So anyway, this is far less expensive than an ATC. And there are plenty of other rifle options out there. So I just wanted to make it clear that the Daniel Defense isn't the only way to go. So let's take a look at some of the groups that we got from the Springfield when we were testing it. And we shot this extensively, and these aren't all the targets, but we're going to show you a good example of what we were able to achieve. This is the Norse dagger of pointing. So let's take a look at the first target. All right. This was our early testing with different types of ammunition. This is a test target that we were trying to get everything zeroed. And then we started doing some, and we reuse our paper targets. These are 30 caliber holes. These are not 223 sized holes. We'll just paste these up and you'll see 30 caliber holes elsewhere and we'll mark them. So anyway, PMC 77 grain match. We've had pretty good luck with this stuff in other guns. 3-shot group, 0.8 of an inch. Definitely lives up to the accuracy promise that Springfield makes. Winchester, 69 grain ammunition, 1.6 inch group. Same ammo over here, 1.8 inch group. I've never had much luck with Winchester match ammo. So this group here was just another zeroing target because we noticed the rounds were kind of favoring right, and we were just messing around shooting here. So this is Federal Gold Medal match, 77 grain. We've seen other reviewers out on YouTube talking about this ammo, the gun liking it, and this gave us a 1.1 inch 3-shot group, which is right at that threshold of their accuracy guarantee. Picked up some Nosler 70 grain ammunition, and much like the Winchester, don't do that, 2.9 inches. And again, Nosler ammo I've never had much luck with. So then we go to the next 3-shot group. This is with 77 grain Federal Gold Medal match. This one shrunk down to 0.6 of an inch, well within that accuracy guarantee. Another Federal Gold Medal match, this time with 69 grain ammunition, 1 inch, right there at the accuracy guarantee. 69 grain Federal Gold Medal match, 0.7 for a 3-shot group. So it seems with its configuration that it ships to you that it is within the realm of the accuracy guarantee if you shoot 3 rounds. All right, so we've discussed this target. Let's flip her over and talk about how the ATC stacked up against the Daniel Defense. This is an old 6.8 target. Doesn't matter. Again, we reuse our cardboard. This stuff is like 75 cents a piece, so we try to reuse it as much as we can. That's not relevant. Over here, Federal Gold Medal match, 69 grain stuff, 3-shot group, 1 inch. Federal Gold Medal match, 77 grain, 0.9 of an inch. And this is out of the Springfield. Federal Gold Medal match, again, the stuff that it prefers, 77 grain, 0.9, and then 77 grain, 1.1 inch. Now, I also want to say that I watched a video from Texas Plinking, and he was getting similar accuracy results. I've seen some other reviews out there claiming like consistent 1/2 inch groups, and I don't, either they got a hand-picked rifle, but most everybody else that I watch out there that I've seen so far, this seems to be about average for the ATC. So how's that stack up against the Daniel Defense Mark 12? Federal Gold Medal match, 69 grain stuff, 0.7. Federal Gold Medal match, 69 grain stuff, 1.1 inch. Federal Gold Medal match, 69 grain, 0.7. 69 grain Federal, 0.7. 69 grain Federal, 0.5, 1/2 of an inch. The Daniel Defense is out shooting the ATC. And the Daniel Defense has a 5.56 chamber. The ATC has the Ballistic Advantage 223 Wild chamber. So what are you getting for your almost $2,000? So clearly I was less than impressed with the performance of the ATC as a 223 rifle. It performs on average pretty much as every other 223 rifle I own. With factory match 223, just about any rifle you can find will shoot 1 inch or so. It's not impressive. And that's a combination of things. I mean, the 223 is not even that great of a varminting cartridge. It's an okay intermediate cartridge for military purposes because it has low recoil and full auto. But even the US military is moving to the 277 Fury. So, I mean, the 223 is just kind of a blah cartridge. So it really stumped me as to why Springfield decided to go with the 223. It really doesn't make the system sing. So we thought maybe we could get something out of this system if we used quality components and changed the cartridge that it chambered. And that led us to the 6mm ARC and a proof research barrel. So this is the proof research barrel. It's a rifle length gas system versus a mid-length gas system +1 with an extra inch. and it has a 5/8 by 24 thread on it. And again, it's chambered in 6mm arc, and we are using the original barrel nut that the ATC came with. The gas tube comes with the proof barrel. On the underside, gone is the LaRue MBT trigger system, because it's just a marginal trigger system for what it is. Our trigger pull gauge, digital gauge, gave us a trigger pull just under 6 pounds. It was crisp, but I mean, it's just not a good trigger in my opinion. We swapped it out for a Geisley. The Geisley trigger measures at just over 3 pounds, just a hair over 3 pounds. A 2-stage match trigger that really complements the rifle, trying to get those group sizes down. Also swapped out the charging handle, went with the PRI charging handle. It's a gas buster because we're running a baffled can, and it's working because you can see the gas showing up on the receiver, but that's another story. Ditched the BA barrel. We kept the Springfield bolt carrier, but we put in a 6mm arc bolt in the carrier. So those are the major components that we swapped out, and then that allowed us to see if this chassis system, where using a high quality barrel, a better trigger, 3-floated barrel, if we could really wring some accuracy out of this thing. And I think you guys are going to like what we're going to show you next. As you guys know, we suppress everything. Suppressors do not negatively affect accuracy if it's a properly made suppressor. Some would argue they actually improve accuracy. In the case of our SCAR 20, the gun shot about 1.5 to 2 inch groups, put a suppressor on it. Now it's a consistent half MOA gun. So suppressors do good things for many rifles, but I have very rarely seen a quality suppressor degrade accuracy. If anything, it keeps it consistent or improves it. So first of all, we tried to run an OSS, but we ran into problems with the OSS because of the gas system on the proof barrel. Keep in mind, it's a rifle length plus 1 inch gas system, which means it's tapping gas pretty late in the barrel as the bullet's traveling down the barrel. Now we're running full gas because we do not have an adjustable gas block. An adjustable gas block wouldn't have changed anything. We still wouldn't have gotten enough gas. Keep in mind, the OSS can has low to no back pressure, so we needed to add back pressure to the system to get the gun to reliably feed. It was short stroking. We even took the heavy buffer out of it, put a standard lightweight buffer in it, and we could not get it to cycle reliably. So we went to a baffled can to increase that back pressure. Then we got the reliability that we were looking for after the conversion to 6 arc. So this first set of targets was us getting settled in with the gun. Again, all of this is Hornady ammunition. All of it's 108 grain with one exception, which is down here, we found a box of 105 grain black, which is also Hornady. So this is the 6 arc with the KG made suppressor, direct thread. 1/2 inch, 3-shot group. 0.7 inch, 3-shot group. This was just a 0 target. 0.6 group. 0.5 group. 0.8 group. 0.6. 0.6 with the Hornady black, which is 105 grain. 0.6 back to the 108. 0.7. 1.1, this is the worst group the gun is shot as a 6 arc. 0.8, and then these are 308 groups down here that don't matter. So we were seeing really good accuracy performance out of the gun. It's running right at a 1/2 inch if the shooter does what the shooter should be doing. Keep in mind, this is with the heavier 6-pound MBT LaRue trigger in it. This is before we swapped out the triggers. All right? It did have the proof barrel on it. Next up, we went with a KG-made 6.5 barrel. This is still the direct thread can. And we're back to shooting the 108 grain stuff, and that's all we're going to be shooting for the rest of this. This is a 5-shot group. We had 4 shots that landed in 0.6 of an inch with that flyer that opened it up to 1.3 inches. Fired another 5-shot group, got a 5-shot group of 0.8. Jason only fired the gun a few times. He wasn't ready for the gun to go off, but here he was pulling on the trigger, very windy, weird day, and that was a boo-boo. But this is his group up here. Here we have 0.4 3-shot group, 0.9. This is Jason with a 3-shot group. 0.4, 0.6 with Jason. The more he shoots it, the better he's getting with it, which is true of just about any gun that you shoot. You have to learn it. 0.3 of an inch, the best group I've seen out of the 6 arc. And then again, 308s. So this is all with the direct thread can. We're going to get into the disassembly and reassembly of this gun and what a pain in the rear end it is, and why suppressors present a problem with this gun. We were using direct thread cans because typically they're going to give you very, very good performance. They lock up nice and tight against the shoulder. You have two right edges, tend to be more precise, but you can also find precision QD mount systems. The only one that we had available to us that we could easily convert was the KG-made suppressor, which is compatible with ASR mounts from Silencer Co. And we did some testing with the ASR mount. And this is what we got. Again, this is the 108 grain Hornady. 3-shot group 0.9, 3-shot group 1.3, 3-shot group 1.1, 3-shot group 1.4, 1.1, 1.2. Clearly there was an issue with the ASR mount and the muzzle device that we were using with it. And here are those components. So these together combined on the KG-made suppressor reduced the accuracy. So we decided to go back to direct thread. But there's a reason why we wanted QD. And I'll tell you about that here in a moment. Went back to direct thread. Today is probably the worst day weather-wise. We have gusting winds up over 20 miles an hour. It's like 19 degrees outside. So today's suboptimal, all right? But we put the direct thread can back on it. This time, we're using the Otter Creek 30 cal can. This is the short one. And with it, 108 grain Hornady, 0.6, 0.6, 0.7, 0.5. So half-minute accuracy out of the gun as a 6 arc running a direct thread suppressor. So now let's take the gun apart and put it together and show you what that process looks like. And this is a major detractor to this system, especially if you want to run a suppressor. So here's one of the things that really rubs me the wrong way about this gun. If you're shooting it, especially with a baffled can, the thing's going to get really dirty. Just to hinge it open, which you can't, you have to go through an involved process to separate the upper from the lower. It's just not a simple matter of pushing that rear takedown pin out, hinging it open, spraying some Gud scrubber in there, wiping it out, put some oil in there and calling it good. This does not allow for that. This takes tools and patience just to clean the gun. Now, we ran into issues with the ASR mount, perhaps a different mount system. Griffin we've had good luck with and other companies like that. But with the ASR mount, we discovered that we had a degradation of accuracy. Therefore, we went back to direct thread. So if you're like I am currently and running a direct thread on your gun, first you're going to want to make sure that the weapon is clear. This is a 6.5 Grindel magazine, works like a champ. It's an Elander with the 6mm arc. We've had no problems with these magazines whatsoever. Going to go ahead and pull that charging handle to the rear, and the weapon is empty. Now, I'm going to take my suppressor off because this top handguard, you only have about 1.1 inches of width inside the handguard. It is not going to make it over your silencer, and it might not make it over some muzzle devices that you might put on there. So you want to be sure that the muzzle device that you get is no larger than, say, 1 inch across, okay? Because otherwise you're going to have to take it off to get this handguard off, or do what I'm going to do in the future and just leave this top handguard off, as it serves no purpose other than aesthetics. So now I have to unscrew my direct thread can. I would normally have to use a wrench because you want to tighten these. Not hand tight, but snugger than that, or more snugly than that. Okay, now I've got my can off. Now I'm going to take my upper handguard off. To accomplish that, you have a little release down here that you can pull up on that just kind of loosely holds it in place, but you also have a set screw here that tensions that upper handguard so it doesn't wobble around, which it will do when this set screw is loose. Just back it off a couple of turns, and now you got a rattle trap. All right, but to get that handguard off, you pull on this little pin right here, this little drum, pull on that, and slide this forward. Now, we've changed gas blocks. It clears when it's assembled, but when I'm taking it apart, I kind of have to flex that barrel to slide the handguard off to get it past the gas block. But like I said, when it's fully assembled, they don't touch at all. If these weren't present and it just slid on the rails, it would be much easier to take off. This, I'm just going to leave off the gun generally when I shoot it. Okay, so now we got the upper handguard off, which you do have to take off, all right? And now that we got that taken apart, now we're going to take apart the upper and lower. but you can't just push the pins out, because much like the upper hand guard, you're going to need to keep this tool in your bag. You got to put your Allen wrench in there and loosen the tensioning screws to keep the upper and lower from wobbling around. These are applying pressure to both takedown pins, just need to loosen them. And now the gun is your typical AR-15 with lots of slop in it and rattle. Those tensioning screws tighten it up. Now I can pop the pins out. This front pin's kind of hidden down here, kind of hard to get at. So you can just use this tool to pop your pins out. See, look, I take the rear pin out and there is no hinging going on. I have to take the front pin out. Then I can separate the two. Now I can take my bolt and carrier group out. And now I can clean my receiver and punch my bore. All of that just to do basic maintenance on a rifle. The accuracy testing we've been doing out here this afternoon, we have a Primary Arms Athena optic on both the Daniel Defense and on the ATC. This one is a mill reticle. It is their BPR mill reticle system. Has a very precise reticle system in it, which I like. And so this is a scope that I really enjoy shooting. If you guys want to pick up any type of PA branded optic, you can go to primaryarms.com, put Primary Arms optic in your shopping cart, and when you check out, use the code MAC, M-A-C at checkout, and you'll get a free scope mount with that scope purchase. People have been asking me about the B5 stock. I've been posting about this project for the last few days on Instagram as we go through our testing process, and the question came up what I think about the B5 stock as compared to the mag pull option. This one does have the ability to be adjusted for length of pull on the buffer tube itself, and then you can micro adjust your length of pull with the dial here. The dials are nice and positive. This cheek riser is set kind of far back for my tastes. I've not been able to figure out a way to turn it around if it's even possible. I've been checking online, but it has to clear the charging handle when it travels rearward with the stock in its furthest most position forward. When I shoot, I like to have my ocular lens right up against the charging handle. So with it set here, with the riser up, and I get on the gun with the proper eye relief, this thing is digging into my cheekbone and makes it uncomfortable. So I really don't have much use for that riser. I just run it down flat like that and get the appropriate height for my scope via the rings. The gun does not have any ambi controls. It's just standard fare. Selector lever on the left-hand side, mag release on the right-hand side, and a ping pong paddle. When you take a look at a gun like this, so let's say you want to do something like what we've done. This, as a 223, is a 10-pound overweight, overly complicated plinking rifle. 223 really doesn't have much practical purpose. This is not a defensive rifle. Again, it's 10 pounds before you put anything on it. As a varminting rifle, there are better cartridges out there than 223 these days. As a precision rifle, there are better cartridges out there than 223 these days. It just seems like an odd choice. So if you want to make modifications to it, Drake does sell the gun in 223 as a complete unit for $1776. I've already said that, which is less than this particular model at $1899. If you get the black one for $1549, then you can make some of the changes that we've made and save some money. You can change the cartridge to 6.5 Grindle, whatever, 6.8, take your pick, 224 Valkyrie, whatever. So here you can see the 6 ARC next to a 5.56. Been running these Elander mags. They've worked really, really good with the gun. Shooting this gun is a pure pleasure. I'm going to fire 5 rounds for you. As a base 10-pound rifle in 223, it's a very soft shooting gun. And even at 6 ARC with this rifle length gas system +1, the 6 ARC is still a very, very pleasant, mild rifle to shoot. So you guys can see how we have this gun gassed with the, we have the Otter Creek can on it. And I'm going to go ahead and charge her up here. And you can see kind of what the recoil impulse is like on this gun. It's very, very pleasant. You can spot your own shots. So, yeah, that's pretty much the ATC in a nutshell, guys. Do I think it's worth $18.99? In no way, shape, or form under any circumstances do I think it is. Almost $2,000 plinking rifle. You can go out and build something for far less and get the same performance, in my experience. in terms of 223 rifles. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope you found it informative. If you guys would like to support us here at the Military Arms Channel, again, the best way to do that is to become part of our Patreon family. There is a link in the video description below. Also, right here on YouTube, you got a little join button underneath the video player you're watching right now. Mash that join button, and you can support us here on YouTube in the age of demonetization. And last but not least, guys, please swing by and check out coppercustom.com. Thank you for 14 years of support. We'll talk to you guys soon.